These people are the latest to arrive to this displacement camp in Damazin in Sudan's Blue Nile State. Families who have fled the fighting between the Sudanese army and the rapid support forces in the southern part of the region. They join the more than 20,000 people here in this camp. Melka Amir fled Al-Kele when the RSF attacked it more than a month ago and has come to the camp looking for safety, but also for her family, whom she says she was separated from as they fled from the group's attack.
The RSF came and took control of Al-Kele. They beat people and killed some of them. We hid in the mountains, and I fled Al-Kele with my mother during the night, but somehow I ended up here alone. My mother and the rest of my family stayed behind in Al-Kele while I came here. I don't know whether they're dead or alive.
The camp is congested, and newly arrived displaced people say they lack shelter, while those who've been here for months say the camp conditions are poor. But it's not the only displacement camp in the state. About 60 kilometers away, in Bao in the southwest, is another camp that is home to more than 50,000 people. They've come from South Sudan, where they have sought refuge during the 2011 war in Blue Nile. The then conflict between the government and Sudan People's Liberation Movement forced hundreds of thousands across the border. Many of them returned after a peace deal was signed. Abu Saleh and his family arrived nearly a year ago. He says he'd hoped to stay here only a few days, but the current conflict forced him to stay here longer.
The journey here took nearly a month and was very difficult. We came with almost nothing, hoping to organize ourselves and return home. But when the RSF attacks began, we were forced to stay, unable to go back or rebuild our lives.
Many in the camp here share similar stories. Once refugees, now displaced returnees. Camps like this one tell the history of recent conflicts in the region, but they're also an example of how the government and aid groups are struggling to deal with the number of displaced people when new waves arrive. Displaced people living in this camp say, despite the presence of aid organizations, the humanitarian situation is dire, and they worry it could get worse as the rainy season approaches. Ageleng Koi and his family are living in the camp after returning from South Sudan, where they fled to for refuge nearly 14 years ago. He says the assistance they get in the camp is not enough for him and his large family.
How can it be enough? They give us only a little flour, oil, and lentils, and sometimes months pass without any food distribution. We survive by being patient.
Sudan's current conflict has produced the world's largest displacement crisis. But for some of the 300,000 displaced in Blue Nile, it's a repeated displacement, and many don't know if they'll ever return home. Hiba Morgan, Al Jazeera, Bao, Blue Nile State.